But in theory, they could, even with limited licenses, a company could hang on for maybe a year or two, but
It changes the
long
whole
term, yeah, absolutely. But long term, they're going to have to try to recoup some other big licenses, or really ramp up their non-sports stuff, which they've had some success, I think, minimal success, but boy, I think trading cards and non-sports is a tough business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
not easy either. It's
Yeah.
just is troublesome to sports.
Basically, your leading company last year, Inkworks, closed its doors after a good 10, 12, 13-year run somewhere there, if not longer. So there is a void, but at the same time, those products, I don't know any of those products off the top of my head. Like Rittenhouse, for example, produces WNBA boxes.
Right.
And their total run is like 5,000 wax boxes.
Right.
Actually, they stopped making wax boxes last year, but before that, 5,000 boxes. And figured, that's 500 cases. That's their only product for that sport for the year, but that's probably one of the smallest pro sports there is in terms of, demand.
Right.
So how do you do that? I don't think Upper Deck could do that and still,
I don't know. They were successful with golf, 10 years ago, and they haven't done golf either lately.
They did NASCAR. They've done NASCAR.
Yeah, they've done NASCAR in the past.
They've done arena football too.
They've done MLS. They do have their
Good
MLS
point.
license, as far as I know. They can do the product this year, I believe. They're going to do
What
it.
about wrestling or MMA, that sort of thing?
They've dabbled
tried
some
with
in MMA,
MMA,
but
They
Tom
could.
says-
I mean, those are all
Sure,
directions
yeah.
they could go in, but
it's tough.
none of that.
It's
even
not
if
going to
you did a
replace.
little bit.
It's not going to replace baseball. It's
No,
not gonna-
they have to get more
MLS
aggressive
and non-sport is not
for
going
small
to
stuff,
replace baseball and
Well,
football.
whatever's going on, it's got to be really serious because nobody's saying anything. And usually, when we reach out to people, contacts with the leagues or the manufacturers, we get something out of them for the record.
Or they'll give us an idea of when the time frame
But
is.
no one's saying anything. So I don't know what's going to happen. But if we just go back like 14 months, a company that had no North American sports trading card name really in Panini has come in, and beginning in 2010-11 will have a hockey license, a football license, and an NBA license.
Three big four.
And Topps now is a baseball and UFC manufacturer, and Upper Deck is
TLC.
what's that? TLC?
No, CLC.
Yeah, Upper Deck is CLC, and hopefully they produce that with TLC, and they're hockey. So we've covered these things on a one-on-one basis as they've popped up, but to look at it all as kind of one piece, it's crazy.
And there are some different things in play too. I mean, Topps is also a confectionery company that makes candy, and Panini's got its whole sticker division and all kinds of the mainstream, not really hobby-focused collecting niche. It's like
Pop culture, Disney.
all over the Donruss Facebook this last couple of weeks has been the FIFA sticker
World Cup?
books. Where do I find them? Where do I get it?
Right.
That's taken up their entire page. Several days.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so
Couldn't agree
the
more.
difference is these other companies do have these other niches. For instance, Topps is doing Indian cricket.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
Next year,
huge
or
potential
2011.
market, but it's not a high-end card market. It's a different,
Right.
it's a different mentality. But Upper Deck has always been the high-end company. Their biggest, most interesting products are the most expensive. The difference is they do have their memorabilia side. That's an advantage the other companies really don't dabble in.
Right.
But it's a really kind of a different ballgame because like Topps, its last year of being publicly owned, I believe, off the top of my head, I want to say that the revenue for candy was like pretty darn close to the same as cards, or like it was like a 60-40 type situation.
Right.
And Topps Attacks, another segment of that. There was a story recently in the Wall Street Journal where Topps said that 25% of their revenue across the board since 07-ish had been attributed to Topps Attacks. A non-hobby driven gaming set, which also is something that Panini is trying too, but Upper Deck really hasn't gone there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they did with the Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's a different
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah.
So